The following may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Mourners questioned the senseless death of Sharsa Alfonso-David at her funeral service. Why? The question was asked yesterday by mourners, including former National Security Minister Brigadier Carl Alfonso, at the funeral service for his niece Sharsa Alfonso-David, who was erased on April 16 by her husband, Kester Congo Williams, 47. During the service at St. Teresa's Roman Catholic Church, Barataria, Alfonso, who also served as a pallbearer, eulogized his beloved niece as loving. Alfonso said it was important for everyone to give Sharsa's daughter, Khalifa Alfonso, support during her personal crisis. He questioned why someone would hurt such a beautiful young woman whose life was full of promise. A tsunami of grief had engulfed the family and loved ones after Sharsa, 47, was erased by her husband, a Coast Guard, at their home in Edinburgh, Chaguanas. He is said to have taken his own life afterwards. In his brief remarks, Alfonso said, "I am honored to represent my younger brother Trevor. He is not so well. The big question is why. That question is going to be asked. Why Sharsa? I have no idea. I'm no judge. God is the only judge. The Defense Force has asked me to apologize on their behalf, especially to her mother. Sharsa was my niece, a round, chubby face. I got a big hug from her daughter, Khalifa, and it felt as though I had gotten a hug from Sharsa. Sharsa would give me a bear hug with big open arms. You would see the space in her teeth. Some of us would be happy. She has gone to a better place." Focusing on Khalifa, Alfonso said, "I want to assure you, and we must assure each other, her offspring would be looked after. Her daughter can't handle all of this by herself. We have to support her. May she continue to rest in peace." Clad in a yellow shirt and black trousers, Trevor Alfonso, Sharsa's father, accepted a steady stream of condolences and best wishes from mourners who gathered to celebrate her life. After the recessional hymn, "I'm Walking on My Way to the Lord," Trevor Alfonso sat on a chair outside the church's entrance. A few relatives said he was grieving for his beloved daughter. When asked how he felt about her, Trevor Alfonso gently nodded his head and said, "Loving." During the service, lay minister Corinne Suping Chow delivered the homily against the backdrop of the Easter message and called upon everyone to turn your hearts to God. She also said Jesus experienced hunger, thirst, tiredness, and betrayal. Speakers also said it was okay to weep because even Jesus wept. The congregation sang the entrance hymn, "Lord, I Lift Your Name on High," Psalm 23, Alleluia, and recited the Lord's Prayer. Sharsa's body was later interred at the Tuna Puna Public Cemetery. A slew of tributes also came from Banking, Insurance and General Workers Union General Secretary Trevor Johnson, who likened Comrade Sharsa's passing as an undeniable sense of loss of someone who was full of kindness, love, and joy. While serving as a Deputy General Secretary for 4 years, she worked indefatigably for the advancement of women, he said. She never neglected her dad and her daughter Khalifa or friends and family. As the pandemic raged, her philanthropic spirit shone, and she ensured deserving people got food hampers, he added. Fellow Representatives Gary Stubbs and Wesley Francis commiserated. Comrade Charmaine sang the evergreen hymn Blessed Assurance. Sharsa's best friend Martha Sukan said stylish Sharsa loved scarves and pretty shoes, while Tranquility Government Secondary School classmate Donna Mae Lewis lamented she would not be there to celebrate their 30th anniversary reunion with a posse like Yvette, Tasha, and Aaron. During the final viewing, Sukan distributed red, yellow, and pink and white roses for Sharsa's friends to place inside her coffin. They sported white T-shirts bearing her image. Mourners signed a life-size portrait of her in a floral and baby blue dress, which was reproduced on the program's cover. Melissa Jagessar remanded to the St.AnnsPsychiatric Hospital. The woman accused of the homicide of her 62-year-old mother has been remanded to the St.AnnsPsychiatric Hospital. The decision was taken after Melissa Jagessar, 35, a CPEP worker, appeared virtually before San Fernando Senior Magistrate Armina Mohammed Dionaran Singh, charged with the homicide of her mother, Sita Jagessar. The accused of Clarkia Drive, Wellington Road, Davie, is charged with the homicide of her 62-year-old mother on April 19. Initial reports were that the victim's 13-year-old granddaughter discovered her body on the floor of their home after returning home from school. An autopsy revealed that the 62-year-old grandmother died as a result of blunt force trauma and asphyxiation. The accused, who resides at the same address as her mother, was arrested last week. She was charged by WPC Massey of the Homicide Bureau of Investigations Region 3 on Wednesday, the same day of her mother's funeral. Melissa was at the Princestown Police Station during the virtual hearing. She was represented by attorney Satish Emrith, who explained his client's circumstances to the magistrate and asked that she be sent for a psychiatric evaluation. The accused also asked and was granted permission to speak to the magistrate. She told the magistrate several things about the matter, including that she was innocent. Following this, the magistrate remanded her to the psychiatric hospital for a 2-week observation, an evaluation and report. She's expected to reappear on March 12. What's your verdict? Do you believe that Melissa Jagessar really needs a mental health evaluation? Or do you believe she's just putting on an act for an insanity defense? We would not want this to end like the case of Khadija Flement, who has received absolutely no justice after nurse Kelly Phillip shammed her way into an insanity defense. Or Maritime Chairman John Joseph Smith, who has received no justice since his wife, Jamie Joseph Smith, is also a patient at the St. Anne's Psychiatric Hospital. High-speed police chase on highway leaves officer and lawbreaker injured. Commuters on the Solomon Hochoi Highway were caught in a dramatic police chase and shooting on Wednesday night, which ended with a civilian in critical condition and an officer nursing an injured foot. The driver, a resident of Garikara Road, Gasparillo, is hospitalized in critical condition. The drama unfolded around 11:30 p.m. when the driver allegedly sped off after being stopped by the police in Marabella. A police report stated that 2 constables attached to the Marabella police station were on mobile patrol along Union Road, Marabella, when they stopped a gold Toyota NZE Corolla. While the officers were approaching the vehicle, the driver sped off and the officers gave chase. While pursuing the vehicle, which drove through Gasparillo and then eventually turned onto the Sir Solomon Hochoi Highway, the officers called for assistance from the Freeport and Davie highway patrols. This led to a police roadblock near the Freeport flyover, which resulted in the vehicle coming to a stop. But as the police approached the vehicle, the driver sped off once again and ran over the officer's right foot. The report stated that the officer felt threatened and discharged 14 rounds of ammunition from his service pistol, causing the vehicle to careen off the road and into the median. The driver suffered 2 gunshot wounds to his abdomen, and the police took him to the Chuguanas Health Facility, where he was treated and transferred to the Mount Hope Hospital. Meanwhile, the officer was treated for injuries to his right foot and discharged. ASP Gould, AG Sergeant Harriet PC Ramdale and PC Napol were among the officers who visited the scene. The officers' service pistol and ammunition were seized and lodged at the Chaguanas police station, while the injured man's vehicle, a taxi, was towed to the police station. Investigations are ongoing.